basically very, very slow, delayed, everything. And then I had to take the car, and again, roadworks, and the rest is history. So apologies for coming late for that. I'm normally very on time on this kind of stuff, but qadar Allah ma sha'a fa'al. We will start inshallah. So we're going to be covering zakah. We're going to be covering the importance of zakah, what Islam says about zakah, and also how to calculate zakah. Zakah can be very complicated, but I'm going to try and simplify zakah inshallah. And hopefully, I've been doing this for the last 7 years. We're trying to get a presentation. It's for your benefit. I don't need a presentation, but I want to inshallah simplify zakah for you. Firstly, if you go to college, university, or you've been college, university, or not, who is good at maths? Raise your hands. Who's good at maths? No? Maths is really important. You good at maths? Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now, inshallah, yeah? What's 10 times 6? Okay, mashallah. That's easy, right? If you're good at maths, that zakah calculation should be straightforward. If you're not good at maths, I'm going to make it easy for you to understand, because I'm rubbish at maths. I failed maths. Yeah, right? I was good at English and history, right? The boring subject. Maths, I could not get my head right. I still can't get my head around it, right? There's a how do we? Yeah. Maths is something that is very difficult for me, right? But alhamdulillah, through practice, as I say, practice makes perfect, inshallah. My friend here, Abdullah at the back, he's going to give you the presentation that I'm going to be following. So you will have it in front of you, as well as you will have it hopefully on the screen, inshallah, to make your life easier, and then we'll leave ample room for Q&A, inshallah. Is that okay, everyone? One thing that if I can't see someone, I know apart from sisters, the brothers, I need to see your radiant faces. So can you come forward, inshallah? The brother at the back, come forward, inshallah. I don't bite. I'm friendly, don't worry, inshallah. Right? Try and come forward. Come forward, inshallah. There's spaces at the front. So brothers, come forward, inshallah. I hope you don't mind me doing this. Come forward, inshallah. The more closer we get, a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ that, when the Prophet would start a bayan or a lecture in the mosque, the Sahaba would gather around the mimbar. So inshallah we'll get the barakah of following the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So zakah is one of the pillars of Islam. Bunya al-Islam ala khams shahadati an la ilaha illallah wa iqam as-salah wa ita'i zakah. That Islam is based or built upon 5 pillars. Shahada, salah, zakah, Ramadan. Fasting is coming next week, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to reach the month of Ramadan. And finally, Hajj. They are the 5 pillars. These pillars are our identity as believers. As Muslims, this is our identity. Every Muslim must uphold these 5 pillars. And zakah is one of them. Right? And as human beings, subhanAllah, Allah says in the Quran, "Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa minha nukhrijukum taratan ukhra." That from the earth we created you, and from it you will be resurrected. Right? From it you will be buried, and from it you will be resurrected. The word mal, what does the word mal mean in Arabic? Who knows? Mal, wealth. Mal is also an Urdu word, right? I think, right? And in Bengali, if you're Bengali here also, people understand the meaning of the word mal. Mal in the Arabic language comes from the word mala yamilu, means to incline. Yeah? To incline. As human beings, we're always inclined towards the dunya. We're always inclined towards wealth. How many families, how many friendships, how many organizations and how many companies have fallen because there's dispute over wealth? Am I correct? There's so many disputes regarding wealth. I've been a counselor for the last 10 years. I've counseled, mediated between families, blood brothers and sisters. And because of land, zameen and wealth, or dispute between that, they don't, brothers, blood brothers, they have not spoken to each other for 10 years, 20 years. This is how serious it is. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obligated zakah upon us to purify us, to purify our relationship. One of the meaning of the word zakah, it means to purify. Zakah, yuzakki, right? It means to purify. Or zakah yazki, to purify. Another meaning of the word of zakah is zakah zara. The farmers, they say zakah zara, means to grow, to develop. So when you give wealth, when you pay zakah, you are purifying yourself from the stinginess and from the miserliness that is built within our psyche, and also you are increasing your wealth. That is what the Prophet said, مَا نَقَصَ مِنْ مَالٍ صَدَقَةٍ, that your wealth, giving sadaqah in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not decrease your mal, will not decrease you. Has anyone said that because I've given sadaqah, I give zakah, my wealth has increased? No one. And even if someone says it, it's because of their misunderstanding. Never. This is one of the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that giving zakah does not decrease our wealth. It increases our wealth. And I've personally, wallahi, brothers and sisters, I've personally seen this. I'm not rich. I'm not saying I'm rich, right? Not like Suhail Bhai here, mashallah, right? But it does not decrease our wealth. It purifies our wealth, increases our wealth. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I go to my thobe pockets and my trouser pockets. I find £5 here, £10 here. I think to myself, subhanAllah, where did this money come from? As an example, right? So giving in the way of Allah does not decrease our wealth. So zakah purifies us. Zakah enables growth, development. Zakah and salah is very much connected. Allah mentions zakah and salah around 33 to 34 times in the Quran. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, and establish the prayer and pay the zakah. Those who believe, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, right? Those who believe, establish the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They establish the prayer and they pay the zakah. It goes hand in hand. There are people who pray tarawih. The mosque here probably will be filled with people in tarawih, but some people may not want to pay zakah. This is a psychological dissonance that many Muslims have, unfortunately. But if you really understand zakah, you'll see that zakah enables growth. It purifies us, right? What are some of the ahadith about zakah? There's so many ahadith. Those who do not pay zakah, listen to that. Those who do not pay zakah, they will come on the day of judgment, and their wealth will become like serpents, and the serpents will engulf them and choke them. A severe warning about those who do not pay zakah. Because that zakah, brothers and sisters, that money, generally what we have, the wealth that we have, whether it be money or land or houses or cars, whatever, that wealth does not belong to us. It's an amana, it's a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is saying, I'll give you this wealth, I'll give you this life, but you have to, in return, do something for me. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, he said that, being kind, being generous in this life, on this earth, it's a tax that you pay. You have to be kind. Right? And Allah says, pay zakah. Right? Give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that people who do not, meaning of the hadith, do not give zakah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them drought and disasters and catastrophes. Look at what is happening in the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because we have turned away from these basic principles. And it's not because Muslims don't have money. Muslims, if all of the princes and the kings of the GCC countries, if all of them paid their zakah and gave sadaqah, then there will be no poverty in the Muslim world. If everyone paid zakah, if all the Muslims pay zakah, we will eradicate poverty. This is the power of zakah. Literally will eradicate poverty. But zakah enables what? Circulation of wealth. لِكَيْ لَا يَكُونَ دُولَةً بَيْنَ الْأَغْنِيَاءِ مِنْكُمْ. So you give zakah, you give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so the wealth is not a monopoly of the rich. What is happening in the capitalist society, the wealth has become the monopoly of the rich, especially during the pandemic. The poor got poorer and the rich got richer. Right? The voters got poorer and the politicians got richer. But what zakah does, it breaks that. And when we pay zakah, there's no enmity. Because there are people in this Hanzo area that if there are poor people, I know that other Muslims will help or must help. And when we do that, there's no enmity. There's increasing of brotherhood and sisterhood. Right? And it's a commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we give zakah, we pay zakah, we establish brotherhood, fraternity, we reduce or get rid of poverty, we reduce or get rid of enmity, jealousy, and hatred. And zakah is like a safety net. Similarly, we have in this country, like the government gives support. Zakah is more of a powerful tool for that. So I know I have 1.7 billion other Muslim brothers and sisters with me. They're done?
For the slides, just press that one.
Okay. I have 1.67 billion Muslim brothers and sisters if I fall, I know that their zakah will support me. That's the power of zakah. So I'm going to go into the zakah calculations now. So there are so many different hadith and verses regarding that. I'm going to go into the zakah calculation. You can see the slide, yeah? You can see the slide. Right. So easy guide to zakah calculation. Oh, this is... Okay. Yeah, okay. Please. So there are 3 steps that we should take in order for us to calculate zakah. Before I go into that, let me explain a few things. Who's married here? Number 1, who's married here? Married? And the rest, you're going to make lots of dua in Taraweeh this Ramadan, yeah? I'm not getting me married, right? And the elder brothers and sisters, you have to help our younger brothers and sisters, inshallah, right? And marriage is a beautiful thing, right? If you have the right husband and if you have the right wife, it can be paradise. If you don't, then may Allah protect us, right? So raise your hands again. Who's married here? Who knows? And this is particularly for brothers here, yeah? Right? Who knows their wedding anniversary date? You don't know? You do know? Okay. Who knows that? Men don't, yeah, okay. Who knows the wedding anniversary date? Some do. 1, 2, 3, 4, no? 5, right? Some do, right? Who knows the birth date? Right? If the brothers, said that they don't know the wedding anniversary and the wives are here, then there's no food tonight, yeah? Right? I forgot when we got married, right? Only my wife knows. Unfortunately, sister, you have to forgive us. We're men, right? We don't remember those dates, yeah? We should do, but we don't remember. Who knows the birth date? Everyone should know the birthday, right? Everyone knows the birthday. Who knows their zakah anniversary date? 1, 2. Who knows the zakah anniversary? The date that every year, the date that you have to pay zakah. You're raising your hands. What are you going for? You know it, yeah? Inshallah. Okay, inshallah. That's good. Inshallah. Few people raise their hands. The same way we know our wedding anniversary, and if we don't know, brothers, then our wives will be unhappy with us. The same way we know our birthday, especially young people, right? My children always remind me, Baba, my birthday is, even though the birthday is not next month, but my birthday is next month, right? They know when their birthday, because they know that I have to buy them presents. Or I have to buy them this or that, right? The same way we know those dates, we have to know our zakah anniversary date. Because knowing your birthday, it's not that important. Knowing your wedding anniversary date, it's not that important compared to knowing your zakah anniversary. So how do you calculate? So, nothing to be ashamed of, brothers. and sisters here. If you don't know your zakat anniversary date, raise your hands. Okay, that's good. Today, now, I'm going to teach you, show you how you work out your zakat anniversary date. Are you ready? Because you can't pay zakah anything. A lot of Muslims, they think, oh, Ramadan's come, I'm just going to pay zakah in Ramadan. Like, can you pray Fajr during the whole time? Is that allowed? Can you pay Dhuhr during Asr time? Is that allowed? In extenuating circumstances, you can combine and do other stuff, isn't it? Similarly, you can't pay zakah if your time is not there. You have to know when your zakah date is. Is that clear? That's how serious this is. This is how important this is. Like, if you intentionally, without any reason, delay your salah, you pray it late, and you don't pay on time, is that allowed? A person will be sinful for that. Does that make sense? A person will be sinful for that. So you have to know when your zakah anniversary date is. As that is the day, you have to consider how much wealth that you have. How do you work it out? So brother, do you mind if I ask you some questions? What's your name? Zef. Okay, brother Zef. You working? Good work? You like your work? Good pay? Good pay? Alhamdulillah. Before you go, tell us your bank details, yeah? I'm joking, right?
My wife's not here, so you can't.
Oh, clever man, right? I don't know my bank details. My wife knows. See, women are very clever on this kind of stuff. So, do you remember the first time you got your paycheck, or you received salary? Do you remember exactly?
Yeah.
Give me a date.
May 2001.
May 2000. Do you know the exact date? Approximate. Just guess. First of the month. Yeah. If your paycheck for the very first time, if it was above a certain amount, that's your nisab. I'm going to come to nisab next point. If it's above a certain amount, then that is your zakah date. Yeah? That is your zakah date. Right? I'm going to come to nisab in a moment. Right? So say you don't remember. Yeah? You can guess. Let's say this is. Do you remember any other time you received a salary back back then? Which date it was?
It would have been around the first.
Okay, first, yeah. So consider 1st of May, but you don't go by the Gregorian calendar. You have to go by the lunar calendar. We don't go by the Gregorian calendar, we go by the lunar calendar. So whenever that was, say the 1st of May was at that time, I don't know, 1st of Shawwal. As an example, yeah. 1st of Shawwal is your zakah date. When 1st of Shawwal comes, you have to start calculating your zakah. So this is one of the ways you work out your zakah anniversary. Now, another few points. Say today, for the very first time in my life, I received a check of £1,000 for my job, as an example, yeah? Now, that is definitely above the nisab. I want to come to what nisab is. This is the first time I have become what is called sahibun nisab, owner of the minimum amount. Do I pay zakah today? No. I wait 1 year. This time, next year, I have to look at my wealth assets again. If it's above the nisab, then I have to pay zakah. And every year, this is my zakah day. What happens in between that, my wealth can fluctuate, it can go high or it can go low, does not matter. Right? You only consider what you own at your zakah date. So say for example, today is my zakah date. Yesterday, I received £10,000. Today I have to calculate my zakah. Do I add that £10,000 in my zakah calculation? Yes. See, it doesn't matter zakah is a balance sheet calculation. Who's the accountant here? Right? In balance sheet they have in accounting they have balance sheet calculation. You only look at what you have at your zakah day. So even if you received money yesterday, today you have to consider that. Is that clear? So we talked about how you calculate your zakah anniversary, and we talked about your wealth fluctuating up and down. It doesn't matter. Is that clear? Right? Now nisab. How do I know when to pay zakah? How do I know the amount that I have in my account or in my savings or in my investments, whatever, to pay zakah? Right? The Prophet ﷺ gave us standard, the gold standard and the silver standard. Generally, majority of scholars, they go by the silver standard. So it is 612.36 grams of silver, or equivalent in our monetary value today at your zakah day. Because the gold and silver fluctuate, the price fluctuate every single day. You have to go to bullion.com, or you have to go to the local jeweler and find out the price of gold, right? Because it fluctuates. So 612.36 grams of silver today would be probably about 280 or 300 pounds. So if your net zakatable asset is above that amount at your zakah day, you are sahibun nisab. You are owner of the nisab. Meaning you are liable to pay zakah. If it's below, you're not liable to pay zakah. You are able to actually receive zakah. Is that clear? So, nisab, how do I know the amount, the wealth that I have? At what point do I become liable to pay zakah? Yeah? At what point? How much wealth do I have to own in order for me to become liable to pay zakah? And how do we work it out? The Prophet ﷺ gave us two standards, the gold standard and the silver standard. And there are different opinions among the scholars. But let's just say we're going by this silver standard, which is the majority view, and that's the view that I incline towards, I favor myself. Right? But you can go by the gold standard also. But majority view is silver. The Prophet ﷺ said, the silver is 200 dirhams, which is about 612.36 grams of silver. So what you do at your zakah day, you look at how much in pounds, because we deal with pounds now, is 612.36 grams of silver. Yeah? You go to bullion.com or other websites, or you go to your local jeweler, and you will see approximately, probably about, if someone can Google it, you'll find it, around 300 pounds. So when you come to your zakah day, you calculate what you own in terms of zakat. We're going to come to that inshallah. And you minus your liability. And if what is remaining, if it's above 300 pounds, or above what is worth of 612.36 grams of silver, then you become liable to pay zakah. If it's below, you don't have to pay zakah. Yeah? I know it can be confusing, but hopefully I've simplified it. This is the silver measurement. Yeah. So this is how you work out the silver. Haul. So the Prophet ﷺ said, 1 year has to pass, right? And there's a confusion among many. There are different opinions among scholars and also confusion among people. Remember what I said. Everyone must have a zakah anniversary date. I explained to everyone how you work out your zakah anniversary date. If you don't remember, guess and stick to a date. Even if you can't guess it, pick a date or last date you receive your kind of salary and stick with that date. Not the Gregorian calendar, but the lunar calendar. And you must stick to that date. The only time that date might change is if you could become bankrupt. Right? If you have minus zero, then the cycle starts again. Right? You receive money, and if it's above the nisab, then you don't pay zakah on that day, you pay zakah on the same day next year. Right? That's the only time your zakah anniversary date might change. Yeah? What happens during the year, wealth fluctuating up and down, doesn't matter. You only consider what you own at your zakah date. Yeah? Okay. Who can receive zakah? Allah mentions 8 categories in the Quran who can receive. Can I have one of them? Can't see. 8 categories of people who are eligible to receive zakah. إنما الصدقات للفقراء. Sadaqah here means zakah. إنما الصدقات للفقراء. The poor. والمساكين. The needy. Right? والعاملين عليها. Right? The in the olden times, the Muslim government would employ people to collect zakah. So referring to them. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةُ قُلُوبِهِمْ, right? Zakah in the olden time was used when people become, new Muslim, used for them to, stick to Islam. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, and those who are in bondage, slaves. We don't have slaves at the moment, right? وَالْغَارِمِينَ, those who are in debt. So if you're in debt, you're drowning in debt, you are able to receive zakah. وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, right? In the way of Allah, وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and the traveler or the wayfarer. Those are the 8 categories mentioned in the Quran by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You can't use zakah to build a mosque. You can't use zakah to build a school. There's a concept called tamlik. So when you pay zakah, so if I am a zakah payer and there is a zakah recipient here, I have to transfer ownership to the zakah recipient. Literally transfer ownership. That this £10 is yours. I can't transfer ownership to a mosque. Right? It's غير عاقل. I can't transfer ownership to the mosque or building or hospital or school. I can only transfer ownership to a human being, to a person who is zakah eligible. So be careful. There are people who say you can use zakah for anything, everything. No. Sadaqah you can use for anything. Halal, obviously. Right? But zakah is specific. Only use it for the poor and the needy. So zakah cannot be given to the rich, obviously, right? And some scholars say if a person is able to work and there's work available and he's not working, then that person should not receive zakah. Even though he's poor, but he's able to work and there's work available, that person should work and should not receive zakah. I can't give zakah to my father, grandfather, great-great-grandfather. I can't give zakah to my children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. Yeah? Right? I can give zakah to my brother, sister if they're poor. In fact, zakah should be prioritized to family members. Zakah should be prioritized to family members, those who are eligible. Spouses cannot give zakah to each other, or there are some difference among the scholars, but generally, meaning my responsibility is to support my wife. It's obligatory upon me to support my wife, so I can't give her zakah. Non-Muslim, they should be helped through general sadaqah, right? And the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and zakah cannot be used for da'wah, building mosques and hospitals and so on and so forth. Yeah. So those are the people you can't give zakat to. Let's go to what time, Isha? Okay, I'm going to quickly go through the 3 easy steps. I want you to memorize this. It's so simple. 3 easy steps in calculating your zakah. I'm going to go through each step, inshallah. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Right, step 1. There are some wealth we own, we don't have to give zakah on. Like the house that we live in, there's no zakah on it. The car that we drive, we don't have to pay zakah on it. The clothes that we wear, there's no zakah on it. Yeah?
Even if it's a mortgage.
I'm going to come to that, inshallah. Yeah? Those things, there's no zakah on it. Even if it's mortgage, you live in it, there's no zakah on it. Because this is yours. You own it, you live it, you use it, you use your land, you use your car, you use your clothes, all that, there's no zakah on it. See, Islam is, there's wisdom in it. If we were to pay zakah on those stuff, then every year we deplete it, right? There's no zakah on this stuff. So there are certain wealth that we have to pay zakah on, and we call it zakatable assets, and there are certain wealth that we don't pay zakah on. They are called non-zakatable assets. Is that clear? So what are the zakatable assets? Very, very quickly, right? What are they? So when you come to your zakah day, open up a spreadsheet, an Excel, whatever, yeah? Have 3 columns. Number 1, zakatable assets, and you list them. Number 2, liabilities, you list them. And I'm going to come to that. So first column is the zakatable assets. So what are the zakatable assets? Any cash you have in your savings account, in your bank account, in your current account, under your bed, buried in your garden, hiding from your spouses, right? You lent money to others, all cash. If it's in your possession, you have to add that in that list. Yeah? That's number 1. Interest, obviously, if you receive interest, you should avoid receiving interest, but you don't pay zakah on interest. You should get rid of interest. without intending any reward for it. Number 2, any business goods. So if you buy and sell, you trade anything, pencils or pen or mobile phones, whatever, you have to add that in, right? And we're going to come to about properties in a few moments. Gold and silver. If you have gold and silver jewelry, there are different opinions among the scholars, but what is more correct, in my opinion, is that if you have gold and silver jewelry, sisters, you should pay zakah on it. Typo here. Livestock. Who owns cattle? But if you're from Bangladesh, or your parents are from Bangladesh, or Pakistan, or India, or other countries, right, you may have certain land and cattle under your name. A lot of people, they don't consider that because we live in the UK, but you may have certain land and cattle and under your name. You may not benefit from it, but it's in your name, isn't it? In your parents' name or your name. You have to consider that. We can't go into detail, but you have to consider that. Stocks and shares. If you have investment in stocks and shares. Now, if you buy stocks and shares to trade, buy and sell, right? That's your intention at the time of buying is to trade. Then you have to pay zakah on there at your zakah date, the market value of your shares and stock. So, for example, I bought £10,000 of shares, yeah, with the intention to buy and sell. Next year, this time, my zakah date, that £10,000 is worth what? Market rate is worth £20,000. Do I pay zakah on the £10,000 or £20,000? 20,000. Because I bought with the intention to sell. But if I bought the shares with the intention of long-term investment, dividends, to receive dividends, I pay zakah on any dividends that I received at my zakah date that is left over, and I pay zakah on the underlying asset that I have invested in. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have time. Yeah.
So I have shares.
Yeah.
But I pay monthly. I could take them out now, but I know I'm never going to touch it for 15 years.
Yeah.
Is that not
You pay monthly in terms of what? You invest.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you kind of made that intention, did you buy to buy and sell?
No.
It's a long-term investment. If it's a long-term investment,
But it's all about intention.
yeah, it's all about intention. It's all about the reason why you bought that. Yeah. So if you bought the long-term investment, you don't pay zakah on the market rate.
What do you pay zakah?
It's about any dividends that you receive.
So I received 0.
Yeah, then you don't pay zakah, you receive, but you pay zakah on the underlying asset that you invested in. Yeah? Okay. Real estate, property. Now, if the property that you live in, there's no zakah on it. But if you... Question, okay. The property that you live in, there's no... there's no zakah on it. But if I bought a property or a flat, again, same principle, with the intention to buy and sell, that I pay zakah on the market rate at my zakah due date. So say for example, today is my zakah day. A month ago, I bought a flat in London, yeah, for 200k, yeah. I want to basically, after 2 months, sell it, make 250k profit, right? At my zakah day, I have to go to Zoopla or however and value my property at market rate. And if I bought it with 200k, and today my zakah day, that's worth 300k, I pay zakah on the 300k. But if I bought the property, that flat, the long-term investment, I don't pay zakah on the market value of the asset. I only pay zakah on the, and if I rented it out, rental income accumulated at my zakah day. Is that clear? So it's all about the intention. Yeah. Pensions. If you have pensions, they can get complicated. There's some pension you have to pay zakah on because pension is a business investment, right? It's a business investment. You have to pay zakah on that, right? The final salary pensions, they are not zakatable. The final salary schemes, they're not zakatable, right? So in the first column, you tally up your zakatable asset. These are all your zakatable assets. So who's good at maths here? Raise your hands. Who said? Okay. So I'm going to do a calculation, yeah? So I've got cash, £5,000 in my savings account, bank account. I lent to others. So if I lent money to others, I know that I will receive that money after pay zakah on it. Is that clear? So £5,000, yeah? I've got business goods worth of £10,000. How much is that? Yeah? 15. I've got gold and silver jewelry, £2,000. How much is that? Yeah.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
When you work out, if you follow the nisab, thank you. Is it on the buy rate or the sell rate?
The nisab, what nisab? What do you mean?
For the gold or silver?
Oh, the jewelry, yeah?
No,
Yeah.
for this
Yeah. Whatever that is worth, that's 612.3 grams.
The buying rate or the sell rate?
Very good question. The selling.
Sell rate.
Yeah, selling rate, yeah. Whatever you can, like selling, buy it.
For the selling.
Yeah. So, how much are we on? Okay, I've got livestock worth of £1,000. Stocks and shares worth of £10,000. 28. Yeah. I've got property, real estate worth of 100k. 120. I've got pensions worth of 10k. Okay. Oh, I forgot cryptocurrency. If you have Bitcoin and stuff, you have to also add it. The pound value of it. I've got cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever out there of 5,000. 5,000. How much is that? 143. Right? So in the first column, my zakatable assets are £143,000. By the way, just to add, hypothetical. I don't have that. I'm miskin. Right? So right. So everyone's gonna go. He's gonna say, before you go, you gotta pay Qadi Hasana to the mosque. So I don't have that. Yeah. So 143. The first column, I have to add that. Then you go to the second step. Liabilities. Second step is liabilities. What do I do? So I come to a zakat day. What can I deduct? Yeah. So any outstanding bills I have to pay, I can deduct. Say for example, right? It can be like utility bill, phone bill, car bill, whatever that is outstanding, not future, not the ones you already paid, and not the ones you're going to pay. Any bills that are outstanding at your zakat date. Is that clear? So my phone bill comes to £100. You remember zakatable assets. How much was that? 140. And you remember the liabilities, yeah? What I can deduct. So my phone bill is £100. My electricity bill is £100. My water bill is £100. They are due. Yeah? 1 second. That are due. My mortgage. If you have like long-term investments, like a mortgage, you don't deduct the whole entire amount. You deduct the 1 month pay. So mortgage £1,000. Yeah? You're counting. All arrears and overdue payments, I can, the tax that I have to pay, the council tax, so many different that are overdue, right? I can deduct. The rent, the overdue, I can deduct. Yeah. Riba and lawful income, obviously I can't deduct. I shouldn't have it in the first place. If I have it, I should give it away in the charity without intending any reward from it. So how much is my liabilities? 100, 1,000. Huh? 1,300. Very good. Right. 1,300. Excuse me. So then the first column, my zakatable assets is 143. Second column, my liabilities, those things I can deduct is 1,300. The third step is you work out your zakatable asset. Right? So first column is 143,000. Second column is 1,300. What's 1,300 take away from 143? 141,300. Now, nisab. If 141,000 is above the nisab, whatever amount is, if it's above the nisab at my zakah day, today is about £300 silver, 612.36 grams of silver will be about £300. Yeah, 141,000 300 is definitely above. Then I have to pay 2.5% of 141,300 pounds. If it's below the nisab, say for example we've done the calculations, right? And my liability is so much, and I only have remaining £200. £200 is below the nisab. Do I have to pay zakah or not? No, I don't have to pay zakah. So I don't pay zakah on the entire zakatable assets, I pay zakah on the net zakatable asset, what is remaining. Yeah? So initial column was 143,000, yeah? We took away 1,300. Then we have 141,300 left. I don't pay zakah on the 143,000, I pay zakah on the 2.5% of 141,300. And that is how you calculate zakah. The 3 easy steps. Right? If it's the first time you've heard this, it might be a little bit complicated, but if you read the document and you watch other lectures, I've got some videos on YouTube, you'll find it, and there's so many other scholars have given it, lectures on this. The more you learn it, it becomes easy, right? It becomes second nature. So you follow 3 steps. Number 1, you tally up you value your zakatable assets. And remember what are the zakatable assets? It's mentioned there. There are certain assets that you don't have to pay zakah on. You only pay zakah on the zakatable assets. You tally it up, right? Again, say all that amounts to, I have got £10,000 as an example, yeah? And then my liabilities comes to my electricity bill, my phone bill, my rent, and all that are outstanding, my mortgage that I have to pay for that month. Yeah, it comes to £5,000. 5,000 take away 10 is 5,000. Right? I have 5,000 remaining. In the third step, if that amount, 5,000, is above the nisab at my zakah day, I pay 2.5% of that. If it's below, there's no zakah upon me. Simple as that. Yes, any questions? I want to go through the questions now. Yes. Yes, Suhail Bhai first and then. It's the same. It's same for everybody? Yeah, same. So, nisab is basically set. Whether you use your gold, whether you use the gold standard or silver standard is set. So, as an example, say we're using the gold standard. So, how do I know what to do, right? So, I know the Prophet said is 612.36 grams of silver. 612.36 grams of silver. I have to look at how much those grams are worth at my zakah day in pound. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now it could be different. It may be different. So yeah. So for example, if our zakah day is different. So for example, say today 612.36 grams of silver is 300 pounds. But tomorrow increases, and tomorrow is your zakah day, and the silver grams increase to 320 pounds. Yeah. So in that way is different, but for everyone, if you use the silver standard or gold standard, it's the same. The baseline. This is called it's the quantum level, the baseline, the bare minimum that we have to own. Not your net. Yeah. Not your net zakatable assets, right? So once you've calculated, you've given your bills and stuff, yeah? If the net zakatable asset is above the nisab, or equal to above nisab, then you are liable to pay zakah. If it's below, you are not liable to pay zakah. Yes?
I want to clarify regarding the liability. To say my zakah and it goes to the 5th of the month.
So remember, you always go by the lunar calendar. Yeah. So 5th of Ramadan, as an example. Yeah.
Now my phone bill, all my bills go out on the 4th. No, sorry, the 6th.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question.
Am I liable to pay?
It's because it's already kind of in a way, because it's already outstanding and it's closer, then you can deduct that.
And when it was paid on the 4th?
If it was paid already, then you don't deduct it. Okay. Yeah. If it's paid already, you don't deduct it. If it's outstanding, then you deduct it. Yeah. Okay. So, is zakah applicable to those that have bought land and want to build their house to live in it but don't have enough funds? Very good question. Now, land, zameen, most people here probably own zameens and lands back home, as they say. Yeah. So the land that you have, you inherited, you don't do anything on it and stuff, right? There's no zakah on it. But if you bought land, the same principle. If you bought land to buy and sell, same principle. You come to your zakah day. If that land, you have to value the land at market rate, right? If you have land and you are growing crops, you're growing like vegetables and uri and all this kind of stuff, right? And you're eating yourself, there's no zakah on it. But if you're growing crops and produce in order to sell, then you have to pay zakah on it. And it's all there. Yeah? Okay. Should we pay zakah on a company pension? Yes. It depends on the scheme. Go to it. There are different schemes. Depending on the scheme, you have to pay zakah on their pension. Are we under obligation to check if the one claiming zakah qualifies for zakah? Not necessarily. You don't have to go and check. You don't have to go and investigate. Send the MI5, right? No. But if you're reasonably sure that the person is, poor, you can give. But if you're reasonably sure that person is not poor, you can't give zakat to that person. Yeah? Yeah, if they're in debt, you can pay zakat to them. If they're not in debt.
No, they're in debt.
Yeah.
They're paying interest, but they're not zakat eligible.
Now, if they're in debt, they're zakah eligible. Like if they're in debt. Okay, I see. No, in that sense, they can't. Yeah. Is Zakat al-Fitr different from Zakah? Zakat al-Fitr is, we don't have much time. It is slightly different. Zakat al-Fitr is paid during the day of Eid, right? It's paid by the father or the husband of the family, right? And you should pay it before you pray Salatul Eid. If you pay it after, it becomes sadaqah. You should pay it before. And it's obligatory, it's wajib upon us to pay zakatul fitr. Can zakah be paid for someone else? Yes, you can pay zakah on behalf of someone else. It's allowed. You can pay zakah on behalf of someone else. Do we use gold, silver, buy rate or sell rate? I think someone asked that. We answered that already. Any other questions quickly?
Oh, one more, sorry.
Yep.
Business debts.
Yep.
I have mine.
Good. So as an example, if you have a shop, and that shop you buy and sell thobes or saris or whatever, yeah. When you come to use zakah, right, you have to basically calculate all your goods at the sale rate. All your goods, pencils, whatever you have in your shop. Right? The fixed assets, the fridge, your computer, there's no zakah on it. The building, there's no zakah on it. But any goods that you buy and sell, you have to calculate zakah on there, like scarf, hijab, thobe, clothes, trousers, whatever. You have to pay zakah on the market rate.
What if you have a business has to provide a service? I provide a service.
Very good. Yeah, I'm going to come to that. Yeah. So the first one, you pay zakah, you calculate zakah on the goods, right? Any finished items, right? Unfinished items. So, for example, if you are sewing a sari, for example, there's no zakah on it. But you calculate zakah on the thread, this stuff. You have to calculate how much you bought it for, right? And what will cost on that day, and pay zakah. Calculate it. This is how stringent, precise you have to be when it comes to zakah. When it comes to service, right? Then you have not got their money. You will provide a service and get that. You don't know how much, right? You don't know how much. If you provided the service already and there is zakah, you've got money in your account, you save and stuff. Obviously, that's a given. You have to, whatever you have remaining, you have to give zakah on that. Is that clear? And yes, sister over there. So. Yep. Okay, good. And one you drive. Okay. So sister's asking, if you have two cars, one is your family car, another one is you use as a taxi. Yeah, to earn. So basically, you pay zakah on it's like similar to what the brother asked here. Any money that you earn from that, as left in your zakah in your account at your zakah day, you pay zakah on it. On the actual car, you don't have to pay zakah on it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you have to pay zakah on it. Yes, you have to pay zakah on it. So it's not literally in your possession, meaning this is still your money. Like if you lent money to others, and you know that you will get the money back, it's still your money, you have to pay zakah on every year. Yeah. Any final questions? Yep. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So, Miss Zakah, very good, very good. Let me answer that. I'm gonna come back to that. So, Miss Zakah, right? Very, very important. Like, if you don't pay your tax, what happens? You're in trouble, right? Letters and letters and letters. I remember once I was late, and letters and letters, right? And basically, I owed them probably about £1 or £2. Literally, probably underpaid, £1 or £2. They spent probably £10 on the envelopes here to warn me, right? So meaning, our Queen wants her money, right? Our Queen wants her money. Similarly, if we have not paid zakah, we have to go back. So, for example, Allah SWT has guided me now, and I'm practicing, and I want to pay zakah now. But the last 10 years, I haven't been practicing. But I've been earning money. Do I have to go backdate it? Yes. You have to estimate, calculate, and pay zakah on every year that you miss zakah on. So miss zakah, it's a debt. If you don't pay that, right, the poor may and will come to us on the day of judgment and say, you have my money. SubhanAllah. Imagine on the day of judgment, some people come. So you have, because that zakah is not our money, it's the money of the poor and the needy. This is how Islam looks at it. It's like those who do not pay zakah, it's like going to the local Sainsbury's and stealing. Going to the local bank and stealing. Literally, this is how it is in Islam. Right? How severe it is. On the day of judgment, we don't want other people to take our good deeds. And how much we're going to pay? It's not much. Allah, it's not much. You do the calculation, you take away the liabilities, it's not much. Right? For most people, it's probably about £10, £50, £100, £200. It's not much. And when you pay that, your wealth will be blessed, inshallah. Any other questions? Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yes. Any money that you lent out. It doesn't. So possession doesn't. Yeah. Possession does not mean literally it has to be in your hand. Is it your money? Is it under your name? Is it your money? Then you have to pay zakah every year on it. Yeah. And when it comes to like, if I borrowed money from this brother here, Abdullah, £5,000. When it comes to that's my liability. I can deduct that £5,000. So that's a liability. Yeah, because I have to still pay him back whatever amount's remaining. Yes.
Plot of land.
Yep.
So how would you calculate the zakat? For example, you bought something for whatever £20,000, yeah, about a year ago. Now the value is gone to £40,000. Will you pay tax on £40,000 or £20,000?
Good. I think we covered that. So land, if you own the land and it's your family land, right? And you inherited that land, you don't do anything with it. Like there's no zakah on it. There's no zakah on it. That's first scenario. The second scenario, if you bought the land in order to, in the future, you want to make money and you want to sell, then you pay zakah on the market value of the land.
At that time.
At your zakah date.
There is 2.5% of that.
You tally up all of your zakatable assets. Yeah, you tally up all of your zakatable assets. Your land, your money, your savings, your pensions, your business assets, everything. And then you take away your liabilities and you pay 2.5% of whatever is remaining if it's above the nisab. Yeah.
Just to ask you one thing, for example, if I pay tax, it's 40% tax. And so what money is made after that? Do I have to pay tax on that? Or
tax or zakah?
Zakat on that, right?
So you paid...
For example, you pay tax.
Yeah.
There was one fatwa from Maulana Khamdi, you know who
Yeah. I know. That is completely wrong. Completely wrong. Utterly wrong. All due respect to Mullah Ghamdi, and he's not. All due respect to him, he's not a, faqih. He's not, as far as I know, qualified usuli faqih. Right? That is totally wrong. Right? He's essentially saying, if I'm paying tax, why should I pay zakah? That's wrong. Zakah is separate from tax, because tax you can use, the government uses for anything, isn't it? Zakah is specific. Only the poor and the needy gets it. Yeah. Okay, we'll end it here, inshallah. Any other pressing question?
Yeah. One question is that you lend somebody some money. Is the same like you say you have to pay, because your intention is he will give me back that money.
Yeah.
If the person is not willing to give it back.
Yeah. So if you believe that the person is not going to give it back, you've tried and you tried and you tried, and the person is not giving it back, then you don't have to pay zakah on it, because you're basically acknowledging that I'm not going to get that money back, because you tried and you tried and you tried, and the person doesn't want to give it back. Then you don't have to pay zakah on it. But if, however, later on you do get that money back, then you have to pay zakah on it. You have to backdate it every year. Yep.
Sorry, one more question. That I'm paying for one of the plots back home.
Yep.
It's not fully paid. It is paying in installment, but I bought it to build the house with. But some of installments are paid, some are not paid.
Yep.
It is for future to build something. So is it I need to pay the cost on?
So you are paying someone. You bought a plot of land, and you're paying monthly or yearly. There's no zakah on that, no? Meaning the money that you pay, there's no zakah on that. Whatever you have in your possession, in your ownership, it belongs to you, you pay zakah on it. Like, just to clarify again, possession here does not mean what you have in your account only, or what you have in your hand only. If I lend money to others, that money still belongs to me. I still have to pay zakah on it. Yeah? We'll end it here, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Thank you for listening. I know it can be complicated, but please study more. Zakah is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite subjects. I love teaching it. I love learning about it. Yeah. Yeah. Please, check it out, and how to calculate zakah. A to Z of. It's very, very simplified with diagrams and nice colors. Kids will like it, inshallah. Yeah. And apologies for arriving late. Traffic was a killer. Underground was a killer, and apologies to Suhail Bhai. I know he gets upset. He's upset with me because every time I come late. So apologies. I hope it's beneficial, inshallah, and forgive me if I've said anything incorrect, and anything that I've said that is correct is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your community, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to give, zakah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to make money. In Islam doesn't say we should be poor. Whoever says Islam says you should be poor, don't invite them to the mosque. Islam says be rich, but pay zakah. Right? Islam says be rich. You can have a nice car, you can have a nice mansion, but pay your zakah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.